Hello students, welcome back to online class. So today we are going to start a new chapter that is called as flame photometry. Okay, so here let us see what is mean by flame photometry. Okay, so flame means what? Fire, and photo means light, and metry means measurements. So from this we can say that flame photometry means fire light measurement. Okay, so this flame photometry is a branch of atomic emission spectroscopy. Okay, this branch is used for the inorganic chemical analysis for the determination of concentration of certain metal ions such as sodium, potassium, lithium, calcium, beryllium, etc. Okay, so we can determine the concentration of these metal ions by using this atomic emission spectroscopy called as flame photometry. Okay, so in the flame photometry, the species means metal ions are used in the spectrum, and that should be in atomic form. Means what? This sodium, potassium, lithium, calcium, cerium, like these elements should be in atomic form. Okay, and it is devised to measure the low concentration of sodium and potassium in the solution. Okay, so in flame photometry, the species of alkali metals means what? First group elements of the periodic table. Alkali metals means group 1 metals of the periodic table, and alkaline earth metal means group 2 metals. Okay, so these are dissociated due to the thermal energy provided by the flame source. Means here what happens, these groups are subjected to the flame source. Okay, when they are subjected to flame source, these alkali metals or alkaline earth metals are dissociated into its ionic form, or we can say gaseous form. Okay, then some of the atoms, we know that whenever these atoms will subjected to sources, then what happens, these atoms will absorb this energy, or we can say fire energy or flame energy, then they will excited to higher energy. Suppose let's say we are subjecting sodium solution of sodium salt to the flame, then what happens, this sodium atoms or ions will absorb these radiations, flame or we can say fire energy will absorb, and they will be excited to higher energy level. Okay, let's say this will be N star. Okay, but here in higher energy level these elements will be unstable. Okay, because they have higher energy. So every atom or every species will tries to be in lower energy state for their stability. Okay, so some of the atoms of the species or sample will absorb the thermal energy, and they will be excited to higher energy level where they are not stable, and the absorbance of high light due to the electron excitation can be measured by using direct absorption technique that is called as atomic emission spectroscopy. Okay, or atomic emission technique. Okay, then subsequent loss of energy will be resulted in the movement of excited atom to the lower energy ground state with the emission of some energy. Okay, here what happens, here suppose we are having sodium that is sample, sodium salts sample, or we can say NaCl solution sample. Okay, now we have to detect the sodium element which is present in the solution and consider that solution may be unknown to us. Then when that solution is subjected to the fire or flame, then what happens, this sodium element will absorb the thermal energy from the source, and they will be excited to higher energy level. Okay, where the sodium element in the excited state is unstable because it has a higher energy. Okay, then every element will tries to be in lower energy state for their stability. Hence what happens, the element which is present in the excited state will returns to its ground state. Okay, and attains the lower energy. During this process they will emit the radiation, that is called as emission. Okay, so here what happens, the species of alkali metals or alkaline earth metals will be dissociated due to the energy provided by the flame source, and some of the atoms absorbs the thermal energy and then excited to higher energy level where they are not stable. Then the absorbance of light due to the electron excitation can be measured by using direct absorption technique. Okay, then the subsequent loss of energy will result in the movement of excited atoms to the low energy ground state with the emission of some radiation, which can be visualized in the visible region of the spectrum. Then we can see those lines in the visible region of the spectrum. Okay, then the absorption of light due to the electron excitation can be measured by using the direct absorption technique. Here if there is a absorption, this absorption energy, here what happens when sodium energy will be subjected to flame source, then they will absorb the thermal energy. This absorbed energy will be measured by which technique? Atomic absorption spectroscopy or atomic absorption technique. While here there will be an emission of radiation when the excited element comes back to its lower energy state to attain the stability, that there will be emission of radiation, and this emitted radiation will be calculated, or it may be measured by using emission technique, or here we can say this will be atomic emission spectroscopy. So here we are going to study this atomic emission spectroscopy. I hope you guys have understood this. So if you are not understand, pause the video and go back to the video and see once again. Okay, then you will be very clear with this concept. Okay, so this flame photometry depends upon this concept only. Okay, so here one thing you must remember, that in flame photometry the elements or the species to be examined must be in the atomic state. Okay, then let's see further. Now after the emission, that emitted light is specific, that has a specific wavelength for the specific element. Okay, the wavelength of emitted light is specific for the specific element. Okay, suppose I will give you, here there is a table. Okay, so I have mentioned some elements in this table and their wavelength and flame of the color. Okay, so this table below gives the details of the measurable atomic flame emission of the alkali and alkaline earth metals in terms of emission wavelength and the color produced by them. Okay, so these are the elements. Here sodium, when the sodium subjected to thermal energy or flame source, then they will excited to higher energy level, and in higher energy level they will be unstable, and due to that they again come back to its ground state, means lower energy state. During this they will be emit their radiation, and their wavelength of the emitted radiation will be 589, and during that emission you can see yellow light. Okay, like this we can see the violet color for the potassium element. Okay, element. Then this potassium element will give the wavelength of light, that is of around 766. Like this barium element also gives the wavelength 554, and during that emission we can see the lime green color. And then calcium will give the wavelength, that is 622, and it will give the orange color. Then lithium will give the wavelength of light at 620 wavelength, and it will give the red color. Okay, so we can observe these all types of color during their emission. Okay, now let's see the principle of this flame photometry. Okay, so in flame photometry we are included with some instruments. Okay, I will show you which are the instruments we are going to use here. So this is the instrument. Just see here, it is a convex mirror and it is convex lens. This will be slit, and this is a filter, and this is photo detector. Okay, and here it is a sample or a solution of sample in a beaker. Okay, so here we are providing fuel, and here air from the compressor, and here lastly we see in the drain. What happens, instrument during its process is this instrument will inject the sample of the solution to the flame. Then what happens, the radiation of atoms will strike on the convex mirror. Okay, and this will be goes to lens, and this lens will passes that light to the slit and then filter. Then this radiation will be detected by photo detector. Okay, we will see this instrumentation, overall instrumentation afterwards, because in your syllabus we have this flame photometry instrumentation also. Just for the explanation I am showing this part for you. Okay, so this instrument has atomizer also, then flame, that burner after lighting it will give the flame, and that is the thermal energy. Then we will have the monochromator detector, then that detector will converts that radiation into electrical signals, and that will give the intensity of the absorbed light. Okay, then here there is a printer. After signals we can take the print of that. Then there will be LCD alphanumerical, and here there is a compressor regulator fuel supply for the burner to light the funnel, and there will be compressed regular air supply. Okay, from this we have to supply the air, then flame can light. Okay, so this is the instrumentation parts. Okay, I will give you instrumentation once again. Just I am telling that this instrument has in the flame photometry. Okay, now first let's see what is the principle behind this, the principle involved behind this flame photometry. Okay, so first let's see the principle. Here The flame photometry is an emission spectroscopic method, atomic emission spectroscopic method, and in this technique flame is used as an excitation source. Okay, so I shown you the technique, what instrumentation that flame is used as a source. Here in this technique flame is used as an excitation source. Then also electrical photodetector is used as the measuring device. Okay, then sensitive method is employed for the quantitative analysis of alkali and alkaline earth metals. Okay, then we need for this atomic emission spectroscopy we need the solution of the sample. That solution of sample containing the metal salt is introduced into the flame. First what we have to do, that sample or solution of the sample to be examined is introduced into the flame. Then the vapors of which contains the atoms of the metal will get formed. Here suppose we have the solution of the sample, then when the sample is subjected or introduced to the flame, then what happens, it will be converted into its atom, right? Then some of these gaseous elements, what happens after the introduction of the sample to the flame, they will be converted into its atom, then they will be in gaseous states. Okay, some of these gaseous atoms may be excited to higher energy level. Okay, due to absorption of thermal energy, they will be excited to higher energy level, where they will be unstable. Okay, in the higher energy level, therefore they will be returns to the ground state. During this process they will emit the radiation. Okay, that emitted radiation will have the characteristic wavelength. For that wavelength of the emitted light is specific for the specific element. Just I have explained that. Okay, that thing you have to remember. The excited atoms of the emitted radiation will have the characteristics element, and that characteristic element will give the characteristic wavelength. Now the emitted radiation is passes through the monochromator, and then the spectrum is resisted by the photodetector. Okay, that spectrum will be detected by the photodetector. Okay, then intensity of the emitted radiation is proportional to the concentration of the element responsible for the emitted radiation. Okay, means what happens, the emitted intensity of the emitted radiation is directly proportional to the concentration of element which is present in the sample, and this forms the basic of quantitative analysis in the flame test. And suppose we have the sodium, that sodium will imparts the golden yellow, whereas potassium salt will imparts the pale violet color due to the flame. Okay, here from the characteristics color and its intensity, the quantitative determination can be made that intensity of the emitted light is directly proportional to the concentration of element, where I is the intensity of emitted light. Suppose if you solve this, or if you remove this proportionality sign, we will get I equal to K into C, where K is the proportionality constant, or we can say that is constant of proportionality, and C is the concentration of element. Okay, so this is what the procedure. Here what happens, suppose the sample of solution will have the MX salt, like NaCl salt. When they will be introduced into the flame, then what happens, that will be converted into its atomic form. Okay, and they will be converted into its atomic form. right? Then in atomic form, after the absorption of thermal energy, they will be excited to higher energy level. Okay, then during this excitation, what happens? Vaporization of atoms will take place, means they will be converted into gaseous states. Okay, so here these gaseous states, after the absorption of thermal energy, they will be dissociated into its individual gases, like M atom is in the gas and X atom is in the gas. Then what happens? That due to the absorption of thermal energy, that excited atom, suppose that will be indicated by M plus, then this M plus will be in what we can say, very unstable due to the higher energy. Then this energy will be converted into its lower energy for their stability with the emission of radiation. H nu will be the radiation. Okay, so this is the principle. Here first what happens, the sample when it is introduced to flame, it will produce its atoms. Okay, here M plus and X minus, these will be the atoms. Okay, then these atoms when what happens, absorbs the thermal energy, what happens, they will be converted into gaseous states. Mx will be the gaseous states. After vaporization we will get the Mx gases, and after that what happens, this Mx gas will be dissociated into its individual ions, that is M gas and X gas. Okay, and further absorption of thermal energy, they will be excited to higher energy level like M plus, and then this M plus will be converted into what we can say, after emission it will come back to M. Okay, then this emitted radiation is directly proportional to the concentration of the element. I is the intensity of the emitted radiation and C is the concentration of element. Okay, so here we can see this by using this instrumentation. So here this is the flame photometric instrumentation. So here there is a sample which contains the solution of the sample. This beaker will contain the solution of the sample to be examined, and here there is a atomizer, means this instrument will suck this solution, and then that will be converted into its atoms when they are subjected to flame. Okay, and here there is a continuous fuel supply is there, and there is a compressed air regulator air supply is also there. Then this flame, what it will do, it will passes the atomic radiation to this monochromator or photodetector, where the where photodetector will detect the particular wavelength for the particular element. Then we will get the signals for that element. Then we can take the printout of that. Okay, so this instrument contains the 4 major parts. Okay, let's see. First one is source of the flame. Okay, so that burner has a is the source of flame. Okay, that burner provides the flame, and that can be maintained in the constant form at the constant temperature. Okay, this source of the flame should be constant throughout the procedure, and there should be constant temperature. Okay, then there is a second part is nebulizer or mixing chamber. Okay, so here this nebulizer or mixing chamber helps to transport the homogeneous solution of the substances into flame at the steady rate. Okay, here this nebulizer and mixing, this is called nebulizer and mixing chamber only. Okay, what it will do is it will transport the homogeneous solution of the substances into the flame at a steady rate, means at constant rate. Okay, then we have optical system, or we can say the optical filter. So here this picture is called as optical filter or optical system. Okay, so this optical system consists of three parts. One is convex mirror, this is convex mirror, then second one is lens, and next one is third one is filter. Okay, so this convex mirror, what it will do is it helps to transmit the light emitted from the atoms. Okay, after when the sample sucked by the instrument, they will be introduced to the flame, and this flame will emits the radiation, and this convex mirror helps to transmit the light emitted from the atoms and focus to the focus the emission to the lens. Okay, then this convex lens helps to focus the light on the point called as slit. This is called as a slit. Okay, then the reflection from the mirror passes through the slit and reaches the filter. So here this filter will isolate the wavelength to be measured from any other extra or extraneous emissions. Okay, filter is for that only. It will filter only the particular wavelength which is required. Then hence it acts as a interference type of a color filter. Okay, then last part is photodetector, this part. Okay, so this photodetector will detect the emitted light and measure the intensity of radiation emitted by the flame. Okay, so this photodetector will detect the emitted light and measure the intensity of the radiation emitted by the flame. That is the emitted radiation in the is that emitted radiation. Then that emitted radiation will be converted into its electrical signal with the help of photodetector, and then that will produces the electrical signal. That electrical signal will be directly proportional to the intensity of the light. Okay, so this is the detailed instrumentation technique for the flame photometry. Hope you guys have understood this. Okay, if you have not understood, do comment me in comment section. Okay, and I will give the notes of this topic after the after the completion of this chapter. Okay, thank you.